Thanks for tuning in to our seller interview series. Up today, we've got an AdSense site in the health and beauty niche making around $4,000 a month in net profit. It's in that space, but it's actually set up more like a viral or high traffic blog would be set up. It's actually in the entertainment or infotainment space. The listing number is 12020. Now, we do these interviews to give potential buyers more information about both the seller and the sites they're looking to purchase, and we hope these insights are helpful for you in making a buying decision. We've got the seller Hunter with us today to go through the site and cover everything from niche selection to traffic and monetization. Thanks for coming on, Hunter. Appreciate it.
Not a problem.
All right, man. So can you tell us a little bit more about your background in building or running websites?
Yeah, so probably like 4 or 5 years ago, myself and my partner got in the industry, just, building our first site. We learned the whole industry, got really in touch with Google and organic rankings type of traffic sites. And from there, we started buying and building and monetizing and pretty much just doing everything within the online industry and making money online.
Okay, so you've been doing this for a while now. What about this website specifically? In the listing, it says obviously it was built in December 2013, but you didn't build the site from scratch.
Exactly. So basically, being involved in the internet space, we're also all over, the marketplace, looking at sites for sale, trying to purchase. And, we found a lot of different niches that are very positive, and we realized that the earnings for a niche like this were a lot higher, and the metrics were a lot higher than most. So it really excited us. And we do some personal outreach. We find sites on the net that we really like and try to reach out to the owners and see if they're interested in selling. And that just happened to be the case here. We connected with the owner of this site, and we ended up cutting a deal and taking it off his hands. We saw a lot of opportunity for growth and monetization, so that was one of the main reasons why we chose this niche and went after this website.
And you've been in this niche for a while, so you actually bought this about 4 to 5 months ago. Did you just reach out cold? Did you shoot him an email along with others, and this guy just happened to respond, or were you more strategic in your approach?
It was really just, researching different sites in this niche and just cold emailing them, and we got a response and got on a call and on Skype and cut a deal.
That's cool, man. The reason I asked that is because that's something that'd be interesting for Joe and I to do in terms of reaching out and finding more sellers for our platform. Have you done this before? Do you get like a lot of no responses, or did you just kind of do it this a couple of times and got lucky on this one?
My company and myself, my partner, we pride ourselves really on communication and being persistent. So, we'll reach out to site owners numerous times to try to convince them to sell to us. So it's hit and miss a lot. A lot of people don't respond, but, the way we word it and the different type of offers we put out there, we're fair guys. So we get a decent amount of responses.
I love the cold email approach, and I think that's something you probably tweak and even turn into a funnel where you have VAs kind of doing the, top of funnel stuff, and then it kind of gets moved back to you as deals get closer and you get, more involved. For us and for you, clearly, I think that could be a very profitable process if you can get that worked out and working on a regular basis.
Definitely.
So the site makes money via AdSense. Have you tried any other monetization for the site, or do you stick strictly to AdSense?
Stick strictly to AdSense. There may be future potential if somebody wanted to start with some products within the niche. It's a heavy female niche, so there's a lot of different affiliate products that could potentially work.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about niche selection. Now, we list it as a health and beauty site, but I think that's probably wrong. It's more, entertainment, because it's dealing with plastic surgery and celebrities. So there might be an opportunity for plastic surgery leads, but it's more kind of like the gawking approach, which is why you probably have some fairly high page views. We're going to talk about that in a bit. But why did you choose this niche? Why is this something that you guys wanted to get into?
Yeah, definitely being involved with celebrities. There's high search volume, and also there's a lot of new opportunities that happen on a regular basis. If somebody's in the news or there's a rumor, it increases the amount of searches that are going on. And when we already have those pages strategically written and placed on our site, we see an influx in organic traffic. So there's a great opportunity for growth as time goes on within this niche. So it has to do with, these people are very big celebrities in the United States, and we even have celebrities in, you know, India and China. So there's a lot of search volume, a lot of searches going on for these search terms.
Yeah, I saw that with some Bollywood actors and actresses. I think that was pretty creative. Do you think there's any parallel industries? Like, how can you apply this model to a different niche or a different industry, do you think?
That's a tough question. I mean, you really can't. The only other thing I would even compare this to would be, you know, sports rumors and stuff like that, just because those are bigger celebrities also. And, you know, a lot of different things happen in the news that you can write about. So
who's juicing, for example, right? Like,
well, if they were in the news, you know, if they were in the news, everyone's going to go search. And this is kind of how this site works. You know, these celebrities are promoting movies. They're showing up after a few years looking different, and everyone hops on their computer to go Google and see if, you know, they've made changes in their life.
Yeah, okay. That makes sense, man. Let's talk a little bit about your reason for sale. And we get this from potential buyers all the time. They want to know, you know, what the deal is. Why are you actually selling the site instead of just keeping it and growing it out yourself?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, we honestly have no reason to sell the site besides, you know, we're trying to expand our portfolio. We really want to take the money that we could potentially earn from this site and buy a bigger site. We're always looking to grow and just, you know, go from a site that we have $4,000 coming in each month to potentially, you know, start bringing $10,000 a month. So the reason for selling is just because we're trying to take that capital and reinvest back into our business. But, you know, this is a niche that we would always want to stay in, you know, so if we can't sell, the site's going to grow. It's easy to grow. We would happily keep it. So
it's interesting. So I can see that. Well, it's an ROI thing too, right? Like, you reached out to the seller. I'm guessing you got it at a lower multiple. That's one of the values you can get in terms of like doing that reach out, is you can get for lower multiples, as long as you don't run into someone trying to, you know, you're trying to get them to sell their baby and they're like, I want, you know, 10 years profit or something. Oh my God, good luck with that. But if you can find the right deal, you can get it for cheap. What's your plan for cash? Are you just looking to take this cash and invest in another site, like a similar strategy where you reach out to people and see if you can get on like a lower multiple or get a steal?
Nope, we're going to buy a site from your company.
Okay. So the plan is to sell off this site, take the cash and reinvest it through us into a site that has some growth potential in areas that you think would be effective.
Exactly.
Gotcha. Okay.
Just trying to get some bigger sites now. You know, we have a portfolio of a lot of sites like this that are earning revenue. We're looking to just take that next step.
One of the things that buyers don't want to know as well is they want to know if you're going to be in the same niche market. So are they going to be competing with you if they buy the plastic surgery celebrity site? Do you plan to stay on that niche and build other sites in that niche?
I do not plan to build new sites in this niche. However, when we purchased this site, it came in a package deal. So we do have others sitting there right now doing revenue and traffic, but this is our biggest one. And the plan is to really just sell them all off. So
you don't plan to stay in the niche. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So let's talk a little bit about the history. We know the site was built in December 2013. Do you know the trajectory of the business, like the first few weeks or months that it was built by the seller that you purchased it from?
I mean, I don't really have too much detail besides, you know, they built a site, they threw up, you know, 150 to 200 different pieces of content, and that was really it. They started getting a lot of organic traffic just from that. When we took over, we jumped right into editing every single article, making sure, you know, all our on-site optimizations were on point, and then we went into monetizing the site.
So your idea was to hold off on monetization until you purchased it, could clean up, brush up the content a bit. Did you add any content at that point?
Exactly. I mean, the first step was we cleaned up the content. We reviewed the entire backlink profile, did some outreach to remove some links and submit a new disavow. And then immediately we monetized the site, which we had been in this niche before. And, you know, we are experienced in AdSense and monetization. So we've got this site pretty much monetized better than 90% of AdSense sites in the industry. It has some of the highest metrics and click-through rates that you'll see. So, you know, we knew when we purchased this site that we would immediately make an ROI by just restructuring it. So that was our plan. And after that, it's just been a strict content strategy at this point.
Yeah, I was looking at your layout in terms of AdSense, and you've got a nice box at the top, and it's definitely in your face. I mean, it's definitely there, right? And it's definitely a nice box to click. but there's not a lot of other boxes on the site. So I think you really kind of limit it to that box. One of the benefits you get is that you don't have some of the cheaper clicks that'll go through. It's just the premium advertisers generally will have less clicks. So you might have a higher CPC across the board and less clicks. Depending on the niche, that can work for you. It looks like it's working for this site. What have you tried with the site that didn't work? Have you tried anything and you realized, that's not going to work and we had to cut it?
Yeah, definitely. There's two things. We realize that a lot of people come into this site are looking at the photos. So we tried to add more photos, and we also tried to add a next and previous button directly under the photos to try to increase our page views. We realized it did work, but we were giving, our visitors more opportunities to click on other things besides our advertisements. So that wasn't really that positive. It did give us, the more page views and keep people on the site a little longer. We just chose to take them off, but it's an opportunity for somebody to give another shot to. It depends on somebody's strategy for this site.
It just didn't work for you. So you found that your page views were going up, maybe your time on site was a bit better, but it wasn't improving your earnings, so it's a no-go.
Exactly. This is strictly a website for us to make AdSense earnings. We can't look at it as building, visitors, building an email list, and we can get into that when we talk about, the opportunities of growth.
What did you learn from building the site that just worked right away that you think you could apply to any future sites or businesses that you build out? What was kind of the big win on this one?
Really the big win was just already understanding the niche before we jumped into it and understanding the opportunity of new ideas and breaking news and rumors and things that people will start searching for that isn't already there, and having the content pretty much set and being ready to put new content up when something, new came into the limelight. So.
Gotcha. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about traffic and earnings. I see that it's getting about 82,000 visits per month on average. That was over the last 90 days based on analytics and the listing. Can you talk to me a little bit about the traffic sources? Like, is most of it organic? Is it referral? Is it direct? Is it social? How is the traffic getting to you right now?
So most of our traffic is organic. That is the play. Again, as we mentioned, these sites are built as, content-driven sites to rank for specific keywords. Our second most traffic driver is direct, but other than that, it's strictly all organic, Google and Yahoo.
Okay, and this is mostly like long tail phrases. Are there any particular phrases, and you don't have to say the phrases, but any particular phrases that stand out as driving like 50% of the traffic? Or is it mostly like all long tail from a bunch of different key phrases?
It's a lot of long tail, but there are specific, pages, maybe like our top 10 where we're ranking number 1 that are driving a lot of the traffic, but there's a lot of pages driving traffic. So it's not one of those sites that has only like 2 or 3 pages that are ranking and, God forbid that ranking drops, the whole site dies. That's not really the case here. There's over 10 pages that are driving, high amount of traffic. I'd even go to say 20, 25 pages driving a lot of different traffic.
Cool. And we were talking about this a little bit before we started recording, is the fact that it's in a position to where, like, if a new rumor or something pops out about one of the celebrities you have on there, it may drive a bunch of viral traffic in the short term. Have you seen any of those, like, spikes in traffic, or did that happen before you purchased it?
No, 100%. It'll happen. Like I said, since it's a content-driven niche, we strategically are always adding new articles about, high-profile celebrities. And what happens is if they have a new movie or they happen to be seen in entertainment, sometimes it will create a huge influx. And if we have that article sitting, it ends up driving a lot of traffic. I mean, there's probably been, I'd say, I'm looking now, about 3 different times where, our traffic doubled in the day. It lasts about 2 to 3 days, and you'll be able to tell by checking the analytics and seeing, that specific page drive a lot of the traffic. And that's always cool when that happens because it's a big time earning day.
Do you guys stay on top of those trends, and when something happens, you add content right away, or is it more of like, that's great that we got some traffic, but I'm not like following it on a 24-hour basis?
Exactly. I mean, the idea, if I do keep the site in future opportunity, is at this point to, have my writer literally reviewing all these other entertainment blogs and staying on top of what's breaking news and immediately add a new piece of content. But that hasn't been our strategy.
So have like Perez Hilton as your home page
Exactly.
or something, right? So they can keep up on on the details. Okay, so
exactly.
the stability of earnings. Now, you didn't start monetizing this until August of this year, so there's not a lot of history, but I do see that the earnings went up from August to September, and then it went up again in September to October. How are we shaping up from October to November? We're almost a month right now. How the last 4 weeks been doing?
I'd say, the metrics have been staying the same. We've just not been putting a lot of effort now that it, for sale as far as adding a lot more content. So things are kind of evening out. I will add, though, that previously within this niche, we've noticed that come the new year and in the holiday months, a lot more money is made in this niche, and those are pretty much the highest earning months. So we expect to see some jumps in revenue, hopefully.
Gotcha. Okay. And that's maybe something to look at too. If we don't sell it by November, December, maybe holding off for a couple of months until you can realize that revenue. How much content is on the site right now? You mentioned 100, 200 pages. How many pages or posts in total are there right now?
Yeah, I think there's about, I would say over 200, checking as we speak to give the exact number. I think when we bought it, here we go, posts. We have about 320 posts that are published.
Oh, wow. Okay. So you got quite a bit of content. You bought it, you said maybe 150 or 200. So you've added some since then. How much content needs to be added monthly for the new buyer? How much do they need to keep adding to the site?
To be honest, somebody could purchase the site and let it sit, and it'll drive the same traffic and revenue it's making now. But it's all depending on, what they want to do. If we keep the site, we are going to add at least a piece of content daily, just because, like I said, if you have that content for that celebrity or that topic and it breaks in the news and you already have it, you'll see a huge jump. But somebody can get away with maybe adding 2 or 3 articles a week.
Okay, so you want to keep the content going because you want to keep up with the growth and definitely to take advantage of those trends or, hot topics or rumors that go about in the entertainment world. Let's talk a little bit about opportunities. If you were going to keep this site, and you plan to keep this site, what would you take in terms of like the least risky path to growth? So if you want to like slow and steady growth pattern, what would you do to the site?
Pretty much I would stick with the content strategy. I would, have my writer add new content every week and potentially have a entertainment news section to add, breaking news articles, rumors, things like that. I also feel like there's an opportunity to potentially collect emails from all of these visitors and get them in some type of newsletter or just, article feed. That way you could potentially promote affiliate products to them and really expand the entire business.
I kind of like that. So if I did some kind of giveaway, a bribe to get email subscribers, the top 10 celebrities who had plastic surgery, you'd never know who they are or something like that. You know what I mean? To kind of pique their interest. I bet you get some email subscribers out of that. I'm not sure what brings those people together in terms of a monetizable niche, but I bet you could get the subscribers and figure it out after the fact. You would suffer in the short term, though. Like if you did that, you would take away from your AdSense earnings a bit, but it would be, I think, a longer term play to get those email addresses, because that would be, obviously, clearly that's valuable. And it's valuable outside of the organic traffic. So I think that'd actually be a safer path to take to get those emails and then, have that long-term kind of email list you're building. Let's say I wanted to take a really incredibly risky path. I wanted to, triple the earnings in the next 6 months or, 12 months or something. How would I go about doing that? What would you do to really build the site out, even if it was high risk?
Obviously link building is a huge factor in organic rankings, but it's also very high risk. So if the right owner has the right connections in the online space, then I would say jump into building some links. I would jump into adding a bulk amount of content and potentially doubling what's already published. And then I would also feel that some type of social media play, if somebody wanted to invest in, maybe buying likes and sharing all this content on Facebook, because it does have the viral play to it. So if you post the right piece of content, it could catch on and really drive a lot of traffic.
Oh, got it. Okay, so I hear you on the PBN stuff. I hear on the link building. you're always at risk there. But if you're in the entertainment space already, if you've got sites in that space, I think you could do some interlinking that would probably just make sense. I think the Facebook stuff is not even all that risky, to be honest with you. I think you could really, anyone who's got some experience with building out Facebook pages, you can buy likes to this kind of thing really cheap. So really, really cheap. I think Facebook could be a great strategy for driving traffic and getting some virality to the site. I think that's a pretty interesting approach. One of the risks I see is that, earnings haven't been there very long. So it's only been a couple of months. I think we're coming up on the third month in terms of monetization. So it's hard for buyers to kind of justify the earnings. I think one of the things you can look back at, though, is the overall traffic. So even though it's only been earning for just coming up on 3 months, I think you can look at the traffic since it was created. I think that helps to give you an idea on kind of where it's at and where it's going. What do you have to say about that in terms of, there only being 3 months of earnings history?
Yeah, I mean, basically all I have to say is, one, pretty much nobody in this niche is using the monetization method that we have as far as how our site is set up. Also, a new buyer can go check out the trends in this industry. They can see that it's just continuously going to grow. And there's always new topics and new information breaking, like I said. So the traffic will be there. The metrics are proven. So just over time, it's a pretty stable niche.
Okay, let's move into work required for the site. On the listing, it says, 1 to 2 hours a week. Can you describe the type of work that's done on that to maintain the site as it is currently?
Yeah, I mean, right now all we do is we have an entire list of new topics, new celebrities, new information that we want written by our writers. They write it, we review it, we publish it, we add our images, and that's pretty much it. So there's not too much work to do if you want to keep the site the way it is and just have some passive income, just adding the new articles and maybe once a month reviewing the backlink profile and updating the disavow list. Other than that, it's up to you how much time you want to put in and how much more work you want to do.
How do you come up with the topics and article titles? Either you or your partner, are you guys up on kind of the entertainment industry, or is it something that's done via, keyword search volume, or is it done by VAs? What's the process for that?
The process is it's done personally by me. I use a lot of Google Trends. They actually give you people, entertainment, celebrity, sports figures, who's trending, right now currently. I always review that list. I double check our content to see if, we already have an article about that person. If we don't, it goes into a list that we then have an article written. And also there's an opportunity to actually watch these different, nightly talk shows or even new movies, or like you said, there's different entertainment news sites out there that they publish the content that we pretty much need to mimic to grow this site. So that would be the play on just understanding, what content to put on. And you can take those ideas and run it through some search volume and different tools like that and figure out the best content to produce.
Gotcha. Okay. So you could use something like, look at trends in Google, and also, use something like Longtail Pro to kind of figure out which keywords have the most volume. So that's your process. So that's what you do. You figure out the topics, you send that off to the writer, have them write the content, they send it back to you, and then you publish it as a post on the site. Are the writers coming with the site, or are you willing to share that information to the buyer?
There will be no writers with the site. I mean, these are our company's, employees that work with us directly. There is an opportunity to connect with the new buyer and potentially help them out until they get on their feet, or point them in the right direction to pretty much get their own writer or a VA to help them out. But right now, our writers are going to stick with us. So
okay, so you're not giving all the writers, but you will give the process that's used or that's given to the writers in terms of what they need to do to write the articles.
Yeah, exactly. We're willing to be around on Skype and help out a new buyer, point them in the right direction, and if they needed some content in the meantime until they set things up, that wouldn't be a problem.
Cool. Okay, let's talk about some additional information about this listing and you selling the site. Let's say for the top 5 keywords or the top, 10 pages or something, would you be willing to commit to a non-compete in terms of going after those keywords for those pages?
I am not willing to sign any type of non-compete for anything.
Okay. No non-competes for you. How much support?
Yeah, that's not the way I work in the online industry.
All right. So how much support are you willing to offer buyers? So if a buyer comes along and says, hey, I'd like to get on the call with you twice over the next 30 days, is that something you'd be willing to do?
I'm pretty much behind my desk, 6, 7, 8 hours a day, and always available via email. We're just looking to do good business. So anything we can do to help out the new owner, within a fair idea. Yeah, we don't mind getting on calls and really teaching this buyer how to grow the site.
Cool. Yeah, I've got on the listing 30 days of email support and 2-hour-long phone calls, so that should be great. Now, are you open to a split or an earn-out? What I mean by that, would you be willing to accept, let's say, 70% up front and 30% after training, or 60% up front, 40% over the next 4 months? I know obviously that's not ideal, but are you open to the idea?
To be honest, I would say we'd obviously want to sell outright. And if we did, that would probably be how a new buyer would get the best deal. As far as an earn-out, I've never really done one like that, and I have trust issues a lot with people on the internet. If it's through you guys, it might be something we consider. So we're businessmen. We love the internet, so we're willing to figure something out.
Let's get a deal, right? Let's
exactly.
get the deal done, and then we'll figure it out. I gotcha. All right, so let's do a quick wrap up here. We've got an AdSense site that's in the health or beauty niche. I'd actually say it's more in the entertainment niche, specifically looking at celebrities and plastic surgery. The website was created in December 2013. You guys purchased it about 4 or 5 months ago. It's getting about 82,000 visits per month on average over the last 3 months. And it's got an average monthly profit of about $4,000. That's over 2 months. And you said the last 4 weeks or 30 days or so has been consistent with that. And you're saying it's about 1 to 2 hours per week with content. The ideas will have to come from the buyer, and they'll have their own writer, but you'll share the process for writing and getting the articles and content up there so that the buyer can take it over and take it on from there. If you could give me your kind of elevator pitch, Hunter, what's your best pitch in 30 seconds or so on why someone should purchase this site?
Pretty much, it's a proven site, has organic traffic, a lot of rankings. It's some of the best metrics in the AdSense niche that I've seen in my time on the internet. So it's definitely a niche that has potential to grow. There's a lot of new topics and ideas coming every day, every week that, content can be produced about. And I would say it's a steal of a site with a lot of passive income and little work that needs to be done, but a lot of opportunity to put work in and really take the site to the next level.
Awesome, Hunter. Really appreciate you coming on the show, sharing all of your information for potential buyers and also those looking to build sites that are profitable and established. If you're watching this on YouTube, you can obviously click the link in the notes below to check out the listing. And if you're actually on our listing page, please feel free to review any of the information on the right-hand side in terms of traffic and earnings information. Thanks again, Hunter, for being on.